And we just have one more question, and it's from Shawnee. And they ask, first they state, the Bible is very clear about sexual immorality, but to what extent is emotional involvement forbidden in a premarital relationship? What if you know you will not marry the person? Is there such a thing as emotional immorality?
Good question, Christina. Let's look at the first question. It says the Bible is very clear about sexual morality. To what extent is emotional involvement forbidden in a premarital relationship? So, the Bible does warn against, it says fornication on one side, which is actually sex before marriage, and adultery is actually sex outside of marriage. So the Bible warns against both of those things. The Bible also warns against the dangers of also the thought process. So Matthew 5:28 says, "But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart." So we can commit an adultery in our hearts when your heart imagines and fantasizes about having sex with someone else other than your spouse, or having sex with your partner before you're married, fornication. So it can happen inside of your heart as well. Now, the emotional involvement, that's been a question that I've been hearing a lot lately. Um, but I think this is where people get confused, because they're confusing sexual um, immorality, like the actual act externally, and even the mindset of sexual fantasizing, right, with actual emotional involvement. I think there's a separation that we have to be clear on. They think that if I'm emotionally involved, like getting to know someone with their thoughts and feelings before I get married, then I'm committing fornication. But that is not biblical. Only having sex or fantasizing about sex is warned against in the Bible. And I think we have to really separate the two. Now, I think a lot of times when we become too physical too soon and have sex before marriage, the emotionals actually come on too strong and overwhelmingly come upon us, and we make bad decisions because of that, and we confuse the two because they are connected. Um, but except for talking about deep sexual topics before you get married, I actually think the opposite. I think we actually need to become more emotionally involved in our partners. In other words, we need to really get to know who they really are. Like, what are their thoughts and what are their feelings before they get married? Because I'm seeing a lot of marriages, when they get married, after they get married, they wake up and they go, wow, this person was not who I thought this person was. This was not the person I thought when I got married. And that is because I believe they got too physical too soon with the physical side, that they didn't even get to know them even on the emotional side at all. And the physical side really deceives you with your false feelings of emotions. That is a wrong side of the negative emotions. But I'm talking the true positive side of emotions, when you get to know someone with the deep thoughts and the feelings as to who they really are. And I think that's actually something that's really needed today. COVID-19 is perfect, because I was thinking about that. Like, actually, um, the good thing that's come out of it is that people have actually gotten to know each other. Like, if they're dating someone, they're forced to actually talk on the phone more and get to know each other, rather than lying on the couch watching Netflix and cuddling and being physical and not really knowing each other. And I think it's actually been a good sense, because I believe that people actually need to know each other more, not less, before they get married, than just get emotional on it.
Um, I think as women, we're driven emotionally. And I remember, all those Disney movies where you meet your Prince Charming and you get swept and on a white horse and you happily ever after. But we know that that's not how real life is. And but I think there's a level of emotional, maybe immorality, where you can imagine being in a relationship or with the question is, if you don't think you're even going to marry the person, you still want to be in some kind of um, uh, emotional relationship. So when I think of that, it's a lot of maybe imagining or letting yourself um, think of just being wrapped up in your emotions and letting that control you. And you kind of like give your all emotionally, but end up not getting married, and then you find somebody who you want to marry, but see, those emotions still have a hold on you. Maybe you're gonna compare, or you're going to not let yourself, it's whatever you do today, emotionally, physically, will affect your future. So we need to be careful on like the emotional and yes, the physical in before you get married, because it will affect your future marriage. Yeah.
Just looking at that question, what if you know you are not married a
Mhm.
person? There's such a thing as emotional immorality. And I think that's where I think the dating scene today a lot is just dating for fun. Um, and I believe as a Christian that, you know, with dating for fun, you can hurt a lot of people. And I used to do that. And not only did I hurt a lot of people, but I got hurt as well. I think more like dating with a purpose, like to see if this is the person I want to marry, that's more of a good direction to go. And that would help answer this question and the second question. And if you're just dating for fun, I think whatever physical or emotional that you open up too much will be detrimental. And but if you date with a purpose, I think and that's what the separation is. I think if you're just dating for fun, then of course you can go too far emotionally and physically, everything. But if you're dating with a purpose, I think it is good to get to know each other even more than what is seen today. And even my own marriage, you know, I mean, I wish I knew more. I wish I knew this answer to this question back then before I got married, because I really would have gotten more to know who my wife really was and to reveal to my wife, my I guess, yeah, her back then before we're married, who I was even more than I actually did.
Mhm.
Amen. I think that's so relevant today, and I think that's such an important topic for us to discuss as Christians, as far as, you know, really getting to know someone before you're married, and also just kind of the idea of not playing around. You know, Jesus, he took the law and he expanded it in so many ways, like with the idea that, you know, you shouldn't not only commit adultery, but you should also not lust. But if you think of like the commandment, thou shalt not steal, if you're stealing someone's emotions and their affections, knowing that you have no intention of being with them, you know, in a way that's a form of stealing, and it's not right, because it's stealing, you know, a piece of their heart, and it's stealing their time, because they're thinking that, you know, they can invest in you, but really, you know, you're being deceitful and you're not really in this for the long haul. And so we need to be careful that we are not only protecting our own hearts, but also protecting the hearts of others. So I think that's really great advice that you guys are giving to us, as far as, you know, that we need to date with a purpose, and that we need to show Christ's love in all that we're doing in our relationships, both before marriage as well as after. So thank you so much for that. And so that is all for our questions today. And if you are listening and you would like to submit a question, feel free to do so on our website, bibleask.org/ask. And just make sure after you submit your question, there's a box that says, yes, you'd like it on our show. And we would be happy to get to your question as soon as we can. So thank you so much for listening today. And thank you again, Pastor Keala and Yvette Thomposon. We are so grateful for your wonderful words of wisdom and for sharing your wisdom and experience and time with us today. All right. Thank you, and God bless.